Hello, everyone, and welcome to our The Expat Career and Lifestyle podcast. This is Dominika Miernik, your host, and our special guest today is Kasia Michaels. And I am sharing with you today the second part of our interview with Kasia, where we are speaking about how to find your daily happiness and enjoy your international life. Kasia Michaels empowers international women to take their happiness in their own hands and to finally live the life they desire. She has lived and worked in 5 different countries and starting in a new field each time. Enjoy the second part of our interview. Wonderful, great insights. I took notes, so I have all the steps here, and I'm going to choose my favorite. So thank you very much for sharing. I think that my favorite one is being outside because, as you said before, this is something for people who are working in the offices or working from home. This is what I do. So being outside, going outside, like for a walk, it's very important.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are 12 strategies, and then I also gave you a few more. And I don't want you to feel, you or your listeners to feel overwhelmed. The idea is to take a few of these that are our weaknesses. So, for example, for somebody who maybe has very strong relationships with people around them, probably spending even more time and energy on like increasing those relationships wouldn't be so efficient. It's probably better to focus on, for example, focus on your goals if you don't have your goals kind of mapped out, or if we are great at forgiving but we are not grateful, then let's just spend a little bit more time expressing gratitude. So there's no point thinking, oh my god, I have to do all these suddenly, like starting with a plan. It's about being flexible and just seeing what really works in my life at the moment, because we have to look at our circumstances, and we have to see, like, if I want to take care of my body, but and I want to, I don't know, run a marathon, but at the same time I just had a baby, or I'm thinking about getting pregnant, or I am pregnant. That's not the time to really focus. Maybe then it's more important to nurture your body, but in a little bit of a different way. So it's about really finding out what is best for you at that particular moment in your life.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so talking about like circumstances or changes, what can you advise, for example, to an expat woman or a man that are living or are moving abroad to make the most of this experience, to feel empowered and happy?
I think that the first thing to start is actually realizing that there's something you can do about your happiness level, and saying, like, making a decision. This is going to be the beginning of my path to increased happiness, and I'm going to start today. And I'm going to start maybe with being a bit more mindful. Whatever we choose, just one small goal. We as coaches know that the best way to start is by making those really very, very tiny steps. Sometimes they are even ridiculously small, right? But it's always better to start somewhere. And then when you move to a new country, I think what's most important is to develop your network of friends, your community. Because sometimes I've noticed that with some of my friends, or some women that I coached or that I talked to, sometimes there's too much time spent on Skype, for example, or Facebook with friends from the previous country, and then we don't spend enough time to do the networking and spending time to learn people around us, to learn the culture around us, to learn the language. We just talked about it also, before we started recording. We talked a little bit about languages. I feel much better in Brussels because I speak the language better. So I think taking the time to, if you can, sometimes it's not possible, but taking the time to actually explore the culture and the language of the country you're in, that is very, very, very helpful. Um, and what else would I say? In general, I think if for women who maybe don't have an idea what they want to do yet, I think it's very good to explore, your purpose, your passion, and thinking, okay, what can I do in those, 2, 3, maybe even 5 years if I can't have a job, or if I don't have time, or if I don't want to start a business, but maybe I can have some kind of personal project that will contribute to my life, later on when I move to to another country, or when I go back to my former country, or to my, homeland. What can I do? How I can use this time? Because often the 2 years or the 5 years, they can pass very quickly. And if we don't do it with some kind of intention of how we can grow during the time, then we can kind of, let the time slip through, and then, we suddenly decide, oh my God, it's too late, to learn the language, or it's too late to start on a new project because I'm already moving to a new country. So I think it's really about being intentional and trying to learn as much as possible, and see how it can contribute to our life in the future.
Yeah, so it's like taking the most of this international experience, and also how you can use it in your future plans, or in your future career, yeah, or life.
Yes, definitely.
So is there any, so I now we know those 12 strategies, and also your own personal strategies to feel more happy and to build your happiness. But is there any secret, like, to everlasting happiness? If yes, where can we find it?
I wish there was some kind of magic pill, that we could,
Mm-hmm.
oh, let's take this pink or blue pill, and we'll feel happier. I think the secret is mostly about building meaningful connections with people, with other people, being grateful for our lives, for things that we take for granted. Like just now, we moved to a new house that has been renovated, and everything seems new, but the electricity, once in a few days, the electricity, just like the power, gets cut off. And then I was like, oh my God, I am so grateful that I have the electricity. Not only that I can, make myself a cup of tea when I want to, but I couldn't work with a client because there was no Wi-Fi, there was no electricity, there was no Wi-Fi. And we couldn't, I couldn't operate Skype. So sometimes, things that we take for granted, like electricity, especially now knowing what's happening in the States and in the Caribbean at the moment, people who have no power. So being grateful, like that, being grateful for people in our lives. And a very big thing is helping others. And it can be very small things, just like smiling at the supermarket, to somebody, or thanking the mailman for bringing the mail. They bring us mail every single day, whether it rains or snow, it's cold. They do it. So just acknowledging them, um, finding your own way to contribute in some way. Like for many years, I tried to find something like that, and I was thinking, what should I go and spend, I don't know, a month in Nepal or something like that. But at that time I had 2 small kids, my husband travels a lot, he works a lot, I just don't have time for that. And then I found an organization, it's called Dining for Women. It's an American organization that is like an international giving organization that has circles, chapters of women, mostly in the US, but also outside. And we help mothers and children in developing countries. We meet once a month for like a potluck dinner, sometimes potluck lunch. And we cook a dish from the country that we're focusing on that particular month. So we actually learn about those women in, in Africa, in Asia. We learn about how they eat, what spices they put in their food. We learn about, their eating habits and things like that. There's a presentation about the organization that we're helping, and we are raising money for, to help these women with, I don't know, help build a school, or help provide money for surgeries that can bring them back to, their normal life. The causes are very versatile, very different. And at the same time, we are a group of women, international women, living in Europe. So in a way, we're so much more privileged than those women in those developing countries, but we have this affinity towards them. So we know that we're doing something good for the community. At the same time, we're having fun because we're talking, we're meeting once a month. We became friends. I think this is like one of my ways of really giving to the community, giving back, and at the same time having meaningful connections with others, because we not only talk about, just like, oh, how are you doing? How are the kids? How is work? But we go a little bit deeper. We are grateful for our lives. We are sometimes questioning, like how we would behave in if we were in those women's shoes. So I think the secret is kind of for yourself to find some kind of activity that really engages you, that really brings you happiness, and that also gives back to others.
Mm-hmm. Great! Wow, it's a very nice project that you are doing. So you are also like practicing all those 12 steps while helping others, like building community and also like developing deeper relationships, and also cultivating gratitude. So
Yes.
great, yeah.
Yeah. There's something called positive emotion, what is it called, like a spiral of positive spiral, I think, the spiral of positive emotions, which means that, sometimes like early in the morning when we go to the gym and we go on some exerciser, and then we, that releases serotonin in our body, and then we come home, and then, we are so energized, and then we are, happy with our kids and with our husband, and that kind of spills a little bit to them, because they feel happier seeing a happy mommy in the morning. And then that the energy that we have takes us when we start working. It kind of it can be seen in interactions with others. So that maybe we accomplish, some great. Something great at work, we do really well at some report, or at a meeting with somebody, and so these positive emotions that kind of create this spiral, going up and up and up, and there's this negative spiral where instead you can go down. So choosing something that gives you these positive emotions and choosing more and more of those makes you happier. So having an activity that gives you a lot of these positive emotions, like gratitude, giving to others, nurturing your relationships, avoiding overthinking, being optimistic. These are great because you can kind of do a lot of things at once.
Mm-hmm. Great. So, what happiness means to you, like on your own vision of definition of happiness, and how did you build happiness in your international life?
So for me, it's important to know that happiness is kind of work in progress, that, sometimes there are days and moments when I'm happier, and some days and moments when I'm less happy, and it's okay. Because actually, being happy doesn't always mean that we have only positive emotions. Being happy sometimes means that we have negative emotions, but we know how to deal with them. How not to suppress them, but how to actually deal with them so that they can teach us something. Sometimes I was actually reflecting on it today, like when we live this international life, for me at least, there's this always there's this sadness, there's this nostalgia, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because my parents are away and because my siblings are away. So I will never be able to, you know, live in the same place probably with them again. And that there's a little bit of sadness. On the other hand, there's so much that I've been giving because I've lived in all those countries, because I met all those amazing people, because I'm able to experience all the other cultures and do all these things that probably I would not be able to do in Poland, or, you know, not at the same scale. And my kind of main pillars of my happiness are my family. You know, especially when you move a lot, your family is this kind of um, this you know, like the rock that gives you foundation, that gives you stability. So my family is really my main stability and my rock, basically. And also a network of friends, um, developing and discovering my purpose in coaching. That has been great. It took me a while. I wish that I discovered it when I was younger. But you know, sometimes things come at the right moment, and sometimes you have to wait for them. So yeah, basically being able to find my call in coaching, meditating. This is something that I do now almost every day. This is how I start my day. I do a little bit of meditation and a little bit of yoga. That I think made me a little bit more, just a little bit calmer, and not kind of calmer, and maybe more forgiving to myself, you know, for if something doesn't go as well as I would like to, I'm less judgmental. I'm just like more loving to myself. And being, you know, helping others as coaches, I think we give so much to others, you know, by showing our example, by talking about what we do, you know, like you do a lot in your community, you know, helping those women who are interested in you know, in having a career, and while being expats. So I think that these things really, like being generous, being helpful, these are things that really make me happy.
Mm-hmm. So, like, what other like daily or weekly routines can you recommend to create a daily happiness in our lives?
I think the most important thing to start would be probably self-care. So taking care of our sleep, of our health, of moving around, because once we take care of our physical part, the mental, the emotional part will be healthier also. Um, for creating some kind of routines, I think and there are nice things. For example, there's research showing that practicing gratitude is probably enough just once a week. So maybe, you know, other than self-care, like once you're dealing with your self-care, then think about developing some kind of gratitude, whether you do it like in your family during dinner time, or whether you do it later in the evening. Do it at least once a week, and sometimes maybe if you need to, you can do it more often, but once a week apparently is already enough. And being social, because, you know, as an entrepreneur, you can be quite lonely. You don't get out, you know, you're not so much in the open, unless maybe if you're like you know, a coach. I know that some coaches actually coach in the nature, you know, while walking. But most of us, you know, when we are entrepreneurs, we spend a lot of time at home, at our computers, at the desk. So uh, you know, trying to be a bit social, trying to find time to have lunch with somebody, trying to have some one-on-one time with friends, with family. I think that's very important.
Mm-hmm. Great. So I do once per week. I do my gratitude list. It's always like at the end of, yeah, it's on Friday or on Saturday morning. I write down all the things that I am grateful for during that week. So it's a
Mhm.
it's a great practice
Yes, yes.
to be grateful. Yeah.
Sounds great. Sounding was great to make a list, actually. I heard about a project that a woman actually, she created some kind of like a gratitude jar. And every day she would put, every day, I mean, I guess it can be every week, you put a little piece of paper with just like one thing that you're grateful for into the jar. And then at the end of the year, you actually make some kind of almost like a big event out of it. You take out all the little papers from the jar, and then you look at them. And then this is a way also to kind of savor the moment and to savor the past, because when you look at what you were grateful for during the year, kind of reminds you about all those beautiful moments, you know, that happened for the whole year. And it might be a great way to kind of say goodbye to the new year, to the old year, and then welcome the new year with a fresh, you know, brand new jar. Not a brand new jar, but with a jar that's empty now, and you know that you're looking forward to filling. So I really like. I don't do it myself, but I really love that project, and maybe I would I could plan to do something like that for 2018. So maybe some of your listeners would like that idea and could actually practice it.
Yeah, it's a nice idea, and I think what you say that we do not always remember like all the moments, all the happy moments, and also what we have done even during the week or during the day. So it's nice to write those even like the smallest things. And then you really feel happy because, oh my God, I did that. Oh my God, this happened to me. So it's a very, very good practice to feel like even more motivated or more satisfied with what you do with your life, professional or personal life.
Yes, definitely. It can give you like it can give you more motivation, it can give you more confidence, you know, to do it even more.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us, what are your plans for the future? What are you planning for the future?
Well, so my big plan is about, you know, going back to my previous job and introducing more elements of coaching into it. It'll be an interesting experience. And also, like I said, it may be a little bit challenging keeping my one-on-one clients. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. At the same time, I'm a little bit anxious how it's going to work out, you know, still finding the time to deal with I have two daughters who are 12 and 14. So it's a time when you know, there are a lot of things changing in their lives also, and I want to be as present as possible for them. So that's one project. Another one is that I would like to run longer workshops, because so far my workshops were about 3 to 4 hours, and now my goal is to maybe I can still do it in September, if not in October. I would like to run a workshop that takes the whole day. Just to go a little bit deeper and maybe introduce a little bit more like deep coaching into it. So that's these are my kind of professional goals for the next few months. And personally, I'm very happy to kind of rediscover Brussels. And my old friends, you know, because like being here now, so many people are already saying, let's have lunch, you know, let's meet up. So I'm doing that. And at the same time, I'm also creating some new friendships and new relationships. So I'm very happy about that, because like I said before, you know, for me personally, and I think for people who strive to be happier, creating those relationships is something really vital.
Great projects, and I wish you all the best for all your adventures and challenges. Thank you very much for being with us today, Kasia, and sharing all your tips, resources, and knowledge about how to create more happiness in our lives. So tell us, where can we find more information about you? And I also know that you have a fantastic free gift for our listeners.
Yes, so the simplest idea would be just to go to my website, which is kasiamichaels, one word, .com. So it's KASIAMICHAELS.com, and maybe you can include it in the show notes. And then I would like to invite you to my Facebook group. It's called Daily Happiness. And as a free gift, I would like to offer you a document that I created to help expert women to kind of pitch their idea, their business project to their husbands or partners. Because I know that sometimes, when our partners or husbands are breadwinners, and when our project involves a little bit of time, a little bit of money, we need to have a conversation with them, because it's not, even if it's a project for us, it's never just like a one person thing. Most of the time, when we are when we are in a relationship with somebody. So I think this document would be very helpful. There are some exercises, there are some things to think about, some things to prepare, questions, and some, things that, do's and don't do. So, I think that can be really helpful. And I'd like to offer to your listeners a complimentary 20-minute chat with me. It's not really a session, because normally, a coaching session is a little bit longer, but it would be a chat just to kind of like figure out, where you might be stuck with your happiness, or if you need any ideas, if you need to brainstorm any ideas, or maybe what you have a limiting belief somewhere about your happiness or about your international life. So I could help you with that. And I'm going to offer those free sessions or free chats only until the end of September, probably, because afterwards I just won't have time for them. So if you're interested, the best time would be to sign up right now. And there are links to sign up on my website if you go to kasiamichaels.com. So, and thank you very much. Thank you so much, Dominika, for inviting me. This has been my first podcast, so very exciting. Mm-hmm. And also thank you for all the work that you're doing in your expat woman career and this community. I think that there's a lot of women who without the help of coaches like yourself, would never give themselves even permission to dream about some kind of expat career. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, and congratulations for doing your first podcast. I am waiting for more podcast with you as a happiness coach.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Kasia, very much for being with us today. Thank you for listening, and if you like this podcast, please leave us a comment and share it with your friends, and I will be back soon with another fantastic guest. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Bye.